First, great to have a chance to talk to you, man. I know the last time we talked, it was a Zoom scrum, and that was because once again, Canada's biggest music night, the announcements was made for the Juno Awards, man. How did you feel about seeing all this great talent being bestowed upon the rest of the world and letting them know who we are, what we have, and the fact that they are being honored in such a special way?
Well, Rudy, I say every year when we get to do this, this is like our favorite day of the year. It's like Christmas for us.
Yeah.
It's, getting all that news out. And you're right. I'm so proud to run an organization that gets to celebrate and promote Canadian artists. And, there's no question they are just crushing it globally right now, all over the world. And from the Tate McRae's up with 5 nominations, but, Josh Ross right there beside her, he's had an unbelievable year in the last year. So much new talent coming out this year. We have 67 first-time nominees, which again is remarkable. There's so much great music being made out of this country.
I'm glad you mentioned about Josh, because I honestly can't remember the last time a Canadian country artist was part of, because there are two big nominees this year. But I can't remember the last time we had a country artist in that
The top
field.
nominees.
I
Yeah,
mean, the only person I can think of is, like, of course, we go back to Shania or something like
Shania.
that, but I cannot remember that.
That's a good step for us to look up. But yeah, I think you're right. Like to have 5 nominations and be in some of the categories he's in. Like there's some of the biggest categories we have. So yeah, Josh, we had him on our show last year in Halifax, and literally his star just continues to rise. And he didn't have an album last year.
Yes.
So he was nominated, I think, just in Fan Choice last year. This year, he's got 5 noms for that record.
One of the questions I did ask you during the scrum was the amount of, and you did mention about first time nominees, but how does it feel that in the big categories, yes, we still have The Weeknd and some of the other world known Canadian artists, but we still have a lot of artists in those big categories that maybe the rest of the world doesn't know, but now they're getting their flowers. How does it feel? Like it always seems like there's a shift in the void of Canadian
Hey,
music.
look, I think that's our mandate. Our mandate is to promote and celebrate Canadian artists. And, honestly, Rudy, it's so exciting to watch this happen every year where you see a new crop come in and sort of be on the rise. And look, a lot of that is, that is people, that's consumers out there consuming music, listening to music. And so it gets noticed. And it's so interesting because you've also got so many genres of music being represented, so many languages being represented.
Yes.
I said this at our press conference of the day. Album of the year has 4 languages. Like I don't think I've ever seen that before between English, French, Inuit, and Punjabi. Like I don't think that's ever happened in the history of the Junos. So that's exciting. You've got music happening across this country, outside of this country, that is coming back home to be then represented at the Junos. We started the South Asian category, and that was directly related to when we first talked to AP Dillon about being on our show back in 2023. You could see the rise of what was happening with sort of the South Asian music scene, particularly Punjabi music. Karan Aujla being on last year and winning Juno Fan Choice, like that's a fan voted award, and like beating out Tate McRae and The Weeknd is incredible. So you can see this happening, and so to see that now come to life this year with this new category, to be in Vancouver, where Surrey is such an important part of that music scene. It's really exciting to see these shifts happening, not just with new names, but also just new genres of music that may be unknown to a lot of the Canadians.
I love the fact that you mentioned, because that was going to be one of my questions about the South Asian categories, and the fact, because I don't think the Grammys do that, and I honestly don't know, other than the Homeland, anybody else who is truly representing that in such a big award show.
I will say the Grammys obviously have the Latin Grammys, so they do an
Right.
amazing job of doing
Yes.
that there. And again, we try not to compare ourselves. We're very different award shows, but we're a different nation. And, I think especially right now with everything else going on in the world, I think it's such a unique opportunity for people to tune into the Junos to see what is Canadian. I say this in the day, for 54 years, we've been proudly Canadian. And that is what we do. We help elevate Canadian artists. And so, yeah, very excited, not just for the broadcast, but all of Juno Week, everything else that's going to be going on, and giving opportunity to all these artists to be seen and heard and be discovered. Because so many of them, you're saying there's a lot of new talent. I think about just our announcement today. We announced Josh Ross as a performer, Akila, who's an amazing R&B singer, up for a couple of awards. Snotty Nose Reds Kids and Tia Wood. Snotty Nose was on a couple of years ago in Toronto and did an unbelievable performance with DJ Shub. They're coming back also to help represent the West Coast Indigenous music scene, which they're a big part of. And then Nemesis, a Palestinian Canadian artist, who's also up for 3 awards, including Songwriter of the Year. Like, unbelievable. So to see that mix of new talent coming into the show, it's great to see new blood and things being refreshed every year.
And of course, when we talk about the veterans, Michael Bublé hosting.
You know what? You couldn't ask for better hosts. Honestly, this is Michael's 3rd time hosting. And we called him months and months and months ago to do this, and had a lovely chat. And he just opened up by saying, I love my country. I love my city. I love the Junos. You had me at hello. Of course I'll host. Honestly, no one represents Canada like Michael does. He's an extraordinary talent and just such a giving person. Still lives in Vancouver.
And the other thing too that I find so special, and because these are artists who I've had the opportunity in interviewing them before they became international stars, Sum 41, getting their flowers this year.
Excuse me, Rudy. To honestly see Sum 41 get this award, we were, as a board, trying to determine who was going to get the award this year. And when they announced that obviously this was their last album, they were doing their final tour. Their tour is the biggest tour they've ever done in their career. They've just been out globally everywhere. And we just all felt like this is the time. If we're going to recognize Sum 41, this is the moment to do it. And we're so honored to let this performance be their encore. They did their final show here in Toronto. They wanted to end their career in Canada, and we were talking to their management team. The band basically said, we'll do the Junos because this is Canada, and we want to do this here. And they're so honored to be getting this recognition again from their peers. And we're so excited. Their show I saw in Toronto was exceptional. And so we can't wait to see what they're going to do on our stage as well.
I've always said, and I've said this to you, Calgary and Vancouver, to me, for the last couple of years, were 2 of the best broadcasts I've ever seen for any award show. Do you think this one's going to top the 2, especially because of Team Canada winning, the championship hockey? Right now, Canada is so patriotic,
Absolutely.
Do you think we're all going all out with this Juno Awards because of the patriotism that's going on right now?
I certainly hope so, and I think so. And just your point, it doesn't hurt having Michael Bublé as your host and Sum 41 going to the Hall of Fame. Look, we're gonna have some really great moments, not just in the broadcast, but through the whole weekend. Our special awards recognizing someone like Boy Wonder, who again a lot of people may not know, but Boy Wonder is one of the biggest producers ever to come out of this country, making hits for obviously Drake, getting things started for him with his mixtapes, but Eminem and Rihanna and Jay-Z, and the list goes on and on and on. Here is this producer living in Pickering, bringing these artists to Canada to work here, to work with his production. He's made some of the biggest records in the world, so we're honored to have him. We're also going to be recognizing Sarah Harm with the Humanitarian Award.
Yes.
Sarah has dedicated her life to, basically raising awareness of our environment and the challenges that we're faced. And she walks the walk. She's going to be traveling by train across Canada, courtesy of Via Rail, to come to the Junos, a 4-day trip across Canada to come out there, which is absolutely amazing. And she's an incredible artist. Riley O'Connor, who's been out there as a promoter for I think over 40 years, bringing bands across this country, helping build an infrastructure to allow bands to travel from literally Victoria to St. John's, Newfoundland. All these people, along with some 41, are special award recipients, are due these honors. So we're excited to do those kind of pieces as well.
It's going to be amazing. I'm doing everything I can to make sure I'm out there for this because Vancouver's a great place to be at. Um, the parties are amazing, but it's the celebration that I love the most and seeing people I've known for 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years that I've known for so long and seeing them all get their flowers. Cannot wait, man. Congratulations on Karis and everything you guys are doing to help put together the Juno Awards.
Well, appreciate it, Rudy. It's as I said, I feel honored to have the role to lead this organization and what we get to do and to help shine a light on again a lot of emerging and up and coming talent, but also to really thank those superstars also who come out and host our show and do what they do. It is a time to be proud, and we have so much to be proud for in this country. We've got amazing artists, and they are culture, and culture helps define our nation. And so it's an exciting time.